Okay, so recording. All right. Okay, so what's up, everyone? Good morning, programmers. So welcome to our the object-oriented programming week one session. So we're gonna be discussing Java basics since majority or most of you doesn't have a background in the language that we're gonna be using. So we'll start with the Java basics. So if you guys have questions, you can type in the chat box, or better if you can use your audio to actually throw your questions, and then uh, I'll be right there right away to answer your questions. Yes, Arnel, may question na agad.
Yes, sir. Dili lagi may maka-type sa phone, sir.
Dili maka-type, maybe because you're a guest, no? So baka that's the problem. Sige, sa GC na lang. Pwede sa GC na lang ang through ang question. Okay lang?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Oo, sa GC na lang. Sige. Sa group chat na lang natin sa Messenger. Oo, sige. So, I actually open my phone. So, whenever may mga messages kayo doon sa group chat, so I would be able to see. So, actually, I don't know if you're able to see hi everyone. So, maybe because of the restriction of you being guest, that's why you're not able to type. But here's the Q&A na part. Maybe you can use this one. Can you access the Q&A? Makita nyo itong Q&A? Okay, reload daw. We ran into a technical snag. So, please try again. So, Q&A is not working yet. I mean, it's not properly working. I don't know what seems to be the problem, but yeah, I guess it's working. Anyway, so wala. Okay, so let's get started. So before we get to start, I just want to elaborate no that again we're gonna be starting with the few basics of Java. Before we jump into object-oriented programming principles, because I will need to, and you will need to learn the foundation of the such language. So by the way, there are actually four pillars of OOP now. So object-oriented programming principles, and these are one of the most important concepts in our field as we go along with advanced programming. In fact, if you know this concept, you can apply this to many different programming languages. So this is a language, a independent, meaning to say you can actually apply this to any different programming languages. Only that Java is known to be the object-oriented programming language. So that is why we are going to use Java. So also the things that we're gonna be doing here will be most likely can be applied to, and if ever you're going to learn like C Sharp, maybe .NET, PHP, and even JavaScript, no, and all other programming languages ahead of you. So it's really important for us to to see the world as to see the world na we are like surrounded with objects, as we can see no, when you roam around, and whenever you're in your room right now and you want to as you can notice, you have been surrounded with objects like your table, your laptop, your phones. Everything you see there is an object, and that's how we supposed to see how a this our that's how we supposed to organize our codes, and that's how we supposed to view the 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 program, no, our program. We are like surrounded with objects. So to give you the idea so that you will really best learn it, is that whenever you're in a game, di ba, in a game there are characters there, and yung mga characters mo may whenever it moves, no, yung movement ng eyes niya, yung gestures, the hands are all moving the same at the same time. So because they are created as different objects. Kasi pag isang object lang yan, like the 2D, or if you can think of something like na a 2D na video, 'di ba? They can only move one at a time. Parang only one movement at a time. Parang sa San Goku na mga karaan or mga anime na mga 2D, think of that way. So if you are going to implement or apply OOP in your program, you will see every single item to have different or various objects right there. Okay. So in the, let's say for an instance, if you have the environment also, uh, the if you have the trees. Now the trees are different objects. The humans are different objects. The grass will be different objects. Even ang tao or ang item natin na humans might have different objects. Iba yung objects ng eyes niya, where pwede siya create ng gestures, or pwede siya while moving sa eyes, pwedeng maka-move ng mga hands and all the others. So that's how actually object oriented programming works, no? We have to think that everything that we do must be created in an object mannered na programming. Okay, so think of this way: when a bicycle is created as one, meaning it cannot be assembled, it cannot be disassembled, what do you think will be the problem? The problem will be, I'm going to answer it. Well, the problem will be whenever masira yung tire, this would mean na disposable na yung item or yung bicycle, because they are connected as one. Okay? Yeah, they are connected as one, but they are treated as different objects. So, ganyan yung object-oriented programming. Whenever may isang masira sa isang item, let's say bicycle, yung tire, or even yung pedal, you can just replace by you can just easily replace it with new ones. So yun yung idea ng object oriented programming rather, or principles. So there are four pillars of OOP that makes it an OOP, and these are: number one, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. So Java has been really a good programming language to learn object oriented programming principles. So number one, when we talk about encapsulation, it's the ability of a class to actually create or make the data attributes hidden, and put all the data or the members into a single unit called a class with its associated members, which are these are your like operations or methods, and only make that methods or operations viewable to outside world. In a simpler manner, it's like it's like the what they call this one, it's like the capsule, no, from the root word capsule. Many various ingredients, or I don't know if I have the right term, but there are a lot of things put inside of that capsule, just for us to, which is the idea of capsule is to of course not to heal an illness or a sickness, or whatsoever. But that's the idea there. When it was not create when while they are creating it, there are actually a lot of items, ang daming mga items na na parang to come up with a capsule, and then ang daming processes na ginawa just for it to be actualized, and then we can just take one para ma-okay tayo with our with whatever illness we are experiencing depending on the capsule. So ganyan yung idea ng encapsulation, no? So we put all the data together as with its associated members or operations in a one single unit called a class. Now, most definitely when we talk about Java, we 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 deal with classes, and classes means you're actually dealing with objects. So it follows like that, no, classes, objects, And the next thing after that is method. So partner talaga yan sila. Classes, object, methods. So that's what you will have to understand. Now, classes, object, methods, which is in the event may mga other languages that does not follow that kind of uh, parang idea or something. So that is encapsulation. And we're going to elaborate and expound more of that in the next topics that we will have in. So the next ano naman, the next principle is inheritance. So yung inheritance naman from the word itself, ito yung ability ng isang class, no? The ability of a class to inherit properties of another class, meaning sharing common properties of another class. And this is through the keyword extends. So one class can be inherited by another class. Example, if you guys have like you have your parents are beautiful, your both of your parents are good looking. Of course, if you are the son or the daughter, you must be really beautiful. Like you can inherit the physical attributes of your parents. Now, if they're wealthy enough, if they own a banana plantation, if they own a business, most likely you're going to inherit those properties of them. Now, most likely you're going to all of the siblings will share common properties from your parents or from their parents. So we can make that relationship to our class. But in Java, there are actually a lot of relationships, and that's only one thing to create relationships by inheritance. So, and there are actually a lot of the concepts now we're going to tackle about relationships. Only yung inheritance lang yung pinakamagandang, not pinakamagandang, but isa sa pinaka uh, in terms of relationship, this is inheritance is really the a good way to learn and a good way to to implement in our application or our program. And the other one is polymorphism. So ito naman polymorphism, it's the ability of the class to have many forms. So it comes from the word poly means many and forms means morphe means forms. So that's why our class has this capability to have many forms. So just like for it has two parang two concepts. Ito yung sinasabi na method overloading and method overriding. Or other books would call it compile time polymorphism or runtime polymorphism. And we're gonna be discussing that no, in the future. And lastly, we have the data or the abstraction. So ito namang abstraction or data abstraction is in other programming language, if I'm correct, they're not actually, they actually uh, don't parang wala ito sa other most I mean uh, I don't know if I'm correct, but for some programming languages that I've used, parang this kind of concept is wala, no? Only so far only in Java ang nakita ko na nag-apply nito. Because Java has an explicit way of doing it. Ito yung creating an abstract classes. But when we talk of abstract data type or ADT or abstraction, it's the idea of actually data hiding or information hiding, making only the properties of ano lang yung pwedeng ibigay mo sa kayo sa user. Parang we focus on how rather than the what. So yun yung data abstraction. It's actually the implementation of what they call this one, encapsulation, which is ito yung focus naman ng data structures. Okay? So ang focus ng data structures is yung ADT or abstract data typing. Okay? So which is yun yung isang concept na ina-apply ni or gagamitin natin for doing data structures and algorithm along with the calculation of the complexity and and discussing the different algorithms. So gagawa tayo ng mga ADTs. So right now, before we can, because these principles are really hard to follow if wala kayong idea sa isang language, then we have to start from the beginning. Now we'll have to start from scratch. Okay? So now, let's go ahead on to Microsoft Word. Joke lang. Dito sa Eclipse, and we'll get started. So now, the very first time you open Eclipse, if you're using Eclipse no, instead of NetBeans or VS Code, mas maganda VS Code pero mas prefer ko ang Eclipse, by the way. So this will ask you to choose a workspace whenever wala pa kayong na create na workspace. So this time just click on browse. Just tell me ha if medyo paspas lang or paspas na akong pag ano. And then we can choose our disk or our drive. Let's say I'm going to choose Satoshi, and now here I'm going to create a folder named JMC. So you can create workspace in your disk, in your what they call this one, cloud drive, even in your flash drive, basta as long as it's a storage. So okay, so now I'm going to create JMC as my workspace for this, for all of our courses, no, OOP, the discrete structures as well as the data structures. So I'm gonna create JMC, or I created already JMC, and then open it. And then here, andito na siya. So that's now my workspace, but I can easily shift from one workspace to another. Later on, pwede natin i-shift even ando na tayo sa isang workspace. So whenever, of course, you'll have to click launch instead of cancel, kasi this will cancel everything you expect, no, or this will cancel everything what have you parang done in the previous. So again, guys, I would encourage you, pag may mga questions or clarifications on the concepts, do please do ask questions. So ayaw mo kaulaw, okay? I'll try to be responsive as possible. So let's really be uh I would encourage you, no, na mag-ask ng mga questions. Okay? Sige. So now, this is a welcome page of Eclipse. There are actually a lot of items that you can choose from. So you can create a new Java project, create a Hello World application, and even look for tutorials, samples. But this time, I'm gonna, I'm not gonna choose any of this or from this. I just close it, and yeah, so we can now start. Okay? So this is now your working environment. Ang pinaka-importante dito na tingnan nyo is this one, no? So Java project. So kagabi we had a discussion about how to create Java projects and what's the importance of Java projects. We talk about JDK, we talk about JRE, and we talk about ano yung classes and what should be done if yung class mo is hindi siya expected na dapat yun yung name niya. Okay? So, sige. So this time we're going to name this as OOP. So ayan. So wala pa din ako na-upgrade akong JDK, but again I have JSE 40 JDK 14 that will do. So click on finish. Pwede mo mag-next pero you can actually click on finish. And then there's for the newer versions, may magpo-prompt sa inyo na mag-create kayo ng ganitong module or like that. For now, I would just like you to click on don't create. Okay? Sige. Yan. So, this time, we have now the language in our what they call this one, in our package, and we can now start work. We can now start writing programs. So let's start, and let's create a class, and then let's have here name Java Basics. So as I've told you, may mga rules tayo in naming our classes. So can you still remember it? Ano yung mga rules, everyone, people? Ano yung rule? What are the rules that you can still remember yung kagabi?
Bawal bawal mag-unang ng number, sir, sa name.
Very good. Okay, bawal magbigay ng numbers, pero pwede siya mag-contain ng numbers. Very good. Okay. So very good no. Bawal magbigay ng numbers, pero pwede siya mag-contain ng numbers anywhere as long as hindi siya magbigin. So that's good. Okay, what else? Ano pa?
Case sensitive, sir.
Okay, case sensitive, meaning to say, yung J na capital and J na maliit or in lower cases or in upper cases are not the same. Kasi iba yung ASCII code nila. No? Iba yung binary digits nila. So Java treated also these characters as different. Okay, that's one thing for sure. No, if we talk about the ASCII code and binary code or binary digits of each of the character, very good. So Java is case sensitive. The same with other uh, programming languages like C, C++, and C Sharp. Oo. So, yun. What else? Ano pa? Number one, number two, ano pa?
Puwede siya pareho sa modifiers ang name, sir, pero dapat naka-uppercase ang
Mm, very good. Okay, ka mga bright. Ano ako mga anak. Oy, okay. So, Java keywords are not allowed. So, yung mga keywords, meaning, yun yung ginamit na ng Java, hindi siya pwede. No? So, like this one, public, package, hindi siya pwede kasi nga it's already registered in Java. So, abstract, final, itong lang, object, uh, pwede siya pero you'll have to either capitalize or make the one character the uppercase, either U or P, depende sa inyo ha. But again, to avoid confusion, wag nating gawin yan. So that's good. And then that's the third one. That's the fourth one. Yung special characters, no? So bawal ang special characters. Ano yung characters na allowed lang? Yung dalawang characters. Anong characters yung allowed?
Underscore and
And
hashtag ba yun, sir, or ano? Dollar sign.
dollar sign. Oo, yung underscore and dollar sign. Very good. Kasi ang underscore ginagamit yan by Pascal case. Yung dollar sign is, I don't know, but it's seems like it's actually part of the code. In fact, that is what we use in PHP, no, in declaring variables. So kaya siguro gina-allow nila yan. So I don't really have the reason bakit among all, ito yung dalawang characters na allowed in programming. Most likely because uh, these are tokens that are special pa sa special. Okay? So, again, allowed yung dollar sign, allowed yung underscore. But I would not encourage you to to use them in your classes. Pero pwede, it's up to you, no? That is to give elaborations, but you can actually use camel case instead. So sa Java, mas okay na camel casing ang gamitin natin for creating our class. And yung convention naman ng Java is dapat naka-start siya with capital letter. Okay? So that's good. So ang galing ninyo, no? I'm amazed and I mean, ang ganda niyong turuan because you're really into it. Okay? So I'm so excited what we could do in our face to face. All right. So this time, I have shown you last time. Ito yung Java basics, no? That Java. So ito yung under doon sa SRC or sa source which is makita natin. So you cannot change anything. Pag Java basics na yan sa .java, hindi mo na siya pwede i-change like S unless kung gusto mo i-change, i-refactor mo, okay? And then Asa na yon? I-rename mo siya. Asa na yung rename? Or is rename? Tapos i-rename nyo siya, refactor. Ayan, refactor, rename. Tapos, pag-click ng rename, just type here and then enter. Tapos, para ma-change na siya into whatever you want to name this one. So, may iba kasi mag-copy-paste, tapos ibang class pala ang name ng class. So sa Java, hindi yan siya allowed. So you'll need to change the class. Kung ano yung name ng Java, basics.java, that Java extension, it should be the name of your class. Okay? Tapos, another, mag-create yan ng Java basics.class, which is yun yung nandun sa binary na folder. Okay? So yung binary folder, yun yung uh, conversion ng binary digits, no? Para ang computers will be able to understand kasi may compiler tayo sa Java, and this compiler will translate the high level language. Ito lahat, no? Ito si public class, every token that you see will be converted into machine language so that ang computer natin can be or will be able to understand whatever we're writing. Okay? Sige. So actually may 7 phases yan sa Java. Yung create, compile, translate, and parang ang last na part niya is link, and then 7 phases of the life cycle sa programming. Paano siya i-read ng compiling process. So we're not going to discuss that one here. So now, sa Java, importante that you would know, ito no, once you open, may close. So opening and closing tags natin or opening and closing delimiters natin. Okay, so let's start with the output statement. Sige, output statement tayo. Sa Java, dalawa ang pwede nating uh, output statement. I mean, basic output statement. It could be the system class and the other one is the JOption pane class. Yung JOption pane is yung prompt, no? Something that will prompt you a GUI component. Ito namang system.out.print, ito yung console. Same with the debug.write or sa C#, then echo, no, sa PHP, or print mismo sa Python, or cout sa C++. Sige. So C or system dot out dot print line. So may tatlong print statements tayo. So let's say we have here hi JMC. Ayan. Tapos copy paste ko ito. I have here println and I have here printf. Okay. So, hi GMC. Hello. Hello, OOP students and mabuhay. Yan. So, let's say we have this uh, printing statement. So, from the word itself, no print, it prints the whatever inside of this delimiter. No, yung inside of double quotation, hi GMC, hello OP students, mabuhay. So if we're going to run this one, this will be, of course, seen in our console. Okay? If you can notice, guys, yung hello OOP students is actually appending doon sa hi JMC. Okay? But in the case of mabuhay, andun siya sa next line. Actually, itong print line is parang \n yan sa C++ or sa other PL. \n yung mga \n, \t, \c, \b, \r, and ano pa, madaming mga \\. So this time, start tayo with print. Okay? So print muna tayo. With print statement, ito yung printing statement that doesn't have any modifiers or anything na parang access modifier, no, not access modifier but specifier dito that if we want to display them, I mean, kung i-display natin yung without the specifier, either i-print natin siya ito by next line. So isang linya lang yan siya. Okay? But if you're going to use siyempre may backslash n or pwedeng dito sa last part. So okay? So yan, this will display this will now print the the characters or the string in a per line, no? Kasi nilagyan natin siya ng backslash n. If ever na you don't want to put backslash n, you can have use ln, or you can have just add ln to your print para maging may backslash n na siya automatically. Okay? So, yan siya. Backslash n. So, print ln or print line is actually it's it's a printing statement that has already backslash n to it. Okay? So yung isa naman, printf, yung printf is actually derived from C language because Java was known as a language na nag-copy, no? In fact, may issue about Java copying C++ and C. Uh, so it's actually derived from C++. Then printf stands for print formatting. Actually, kung itong printf it's a formatting statement wherein if ever na may declaration ka of a variable here, let's say val is equal to 2, or let's say float na lang para mas maano yung float is equal to 5 point blah blah blah, and you want, if i-display mo kasi itong float f, yeah, I'll need to put here f. Ayan. Sige, wag na lang, let's say this is grade na lang. Okay, wag na ganyan, 2 point something. So this is like grade. So this time, if you're going to run this one, lagyan muna natin ng backslash n, and then let's have it here. So, hi JMC 2.565677. So, yung print formatting, if you want to use this one, ito yung ano niya. 'Di ba sa Python you can have like this percent 2f something. So sa C++ you will need to have a parang percent point 2f, the same, pero you have to use this one. I mean, kailangan instead of plus na concatenation operator, you will use comma instead. So which is sa Python may ganito din, no? So you can format your numbers having only displayed up to 2 decimal places or 3 or 5, depende sa inyo kung ilan yung gusto nyong i-display. Okay? Yan. So that is the work of float. So for string, %s, for integer, %i, no, %i or %d, yun, then %c for character. So may mga different specifiers tayo for each of the variables. Okay? Sige. So that's printing statement. Okay? Do you guys have questions? Walang questions? Hello? May questions tayo?
Evidence and so forth.
Wala. So, di ba simple lang, no? Oh, dili siya lisod. Only that, madami tayong ita-type. Unlike Python, automatic print lang. Okay? So, madami lang tayong i-type. Madami lang tayong i-remember, but not that really hard. So, yung other statement naman that you can use is yung J-option pane. Pero hindi muna natin ito ita-tackle. So, this is another print statement. And let's say, hello, JMC. So, ito yung GUI component ng Java wherein magpo-prompt siya ng output. For example, So you can even put a an icon here or anything. So yeah, no, that is as simple as that. No, sa remember sa Python hindi yan madali, no? Medyo you'll have to really do it in a hard code way. Okay? So yung outputs yung GUI component dito sa Java medyo yun yung advantage niya, medyo madali. Okay? So this is the output statement using UI. Okay? J option pane. Pero we will not tackle that one for now. Okay. So now, check. Walang question so far. Sa GC natin, wala namang question. Okay? So that is output statements. Okay? So now, what if we want to take inputs from the user? So ano naman yung gagawin natin for that? No, so erase ko muna ito. Let's say we are going to take inputs from the user. So inputs to, let's say, integers, and ang pinakamadali add them. Okay, ana lang, no? So for this to happen, syempre kailangan natin ng syso. By the way, type syso, control space, enter. Automatic yan siya. Okay? So let's say type to integers. So now, how are we going to take inputs from the users? Of course, kailangan natin ng variables. Okay? So we'll need variables in order for us to store the value. Okay? Variables are used to store values. In the case of Python, of course, you can do like num1 automatic, no? Num1 is equal to input uh, type to integers, blah blah blah, ana. Okay, but in the event in case of Java, you will need to explicitly declare or use a type. So later on, we're going to discuss different data types. So this time, integer man siya, so I would need to declare the type. What type is it? So int, let's say num1 and then num2. Okay. And then, in order for us to accept input from the user, kailangan natin ng isang class sa Java. So, which is ito yung scanner. Okay? Import java.util.scanner. Ayan ha, scanner, hindi scammer. O, scanner. So, scanner class
Summer.
is scanner. Scanner class is
Summer.
under java.util. Okay? So, ilagay mo lang yan dyan, scanner. Okay, let's say console or input, depende sa inyo. So, pwede input is equal to new scanner and then system. Di ba kanina system, ito system.out. Dito naman system.in. Yan yung sa Java, no? Input. So, input. Pwede ito, again, object lang ito. Pwede itong console, pwede itong X, pwedeng kahit ano yan. Basta, again, yung rules, hindi pwede numbers, hindi pwede, what you call this one, hindi siya pwede na keyword. Basta yung sinabi ko sa inyo na rules kanina, hindi allowed yan in here, no? So, yeah, let's go back to input. So, system.in. So, type to integers and then you can just do like this. Num1 is equal to, we use that object, ito, si input, kasi ito yung basis natin for getting the input, that next int. And then, pwede tayong copy paste and then num2 is equal to input.nextInt. So now, pwede tayong mag-display sysout. Let's say you entered uh, num1 and okay, num2. Ayan. Okay, so whenever we run this one, okay, run ko ang program, and then I put here 5 and 4. So you entered 5 and 4. Or pwede nga na, let's say, 7 and 8. So you entered 7 and 8. Ayan. Okay? So now, if we are going to perform arithmetic operators, siyempre, alam nyo yan, no? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and all. So, we can have here, sir, na-close na ko ang console ba? Unsaon pabalik? Okay. So, na-close ang console. Just in case you accidentally close the console, try mo pag-run ulit pag dili na ma-run. O, sige. So, if that is the case, just go to asan na 'yon? View. Where's my view? Wait. Wait ha, kay dito, window. Makita mo yung ano, editor? Kita ka ng editor? Kani? Hindi na mao. Dito sa show view. Okay, dito sa show view, you will see here console. Just click that one. I-click mo lang yan, show view. Okay, welcome. Wala kang audio? Actually, if everything turns out parang ano na, you can, saan na yun? Where is this option na ibalik mo siya sa dati? Sana all mabalik sa dati. Mhm. Do we have that option here? Parang wala. Ratatatat. Wala. So, individually, you can get it back by by navigating to window and go to show view. And then, console, ang importante dito, yung console and package explorer. Yan yung importante. Ito pala. If when everything turns out bad for you, like, hala, na-erase ko na si this one, natanggal ko ito si this one, nawala si task list, nawala din ito. So, lahat na lang ng tao, lahat na lang nawala na sa'yo. Okay? Kung
Sir, excuse me,
ganyan,
sir.
yes po.
Saan yun pag-zoom in ani, sir?
Zoom in. Wait for a while. So, sige, tapusin ko muna ito. When everything turns out bad for you, just in case, paano na yun, no? And you cannot, parang isa-isahin mo yun lahat sila. You can just go to perspective and reset perspective. So, sana ganun lang, no? Pag nawala sila, tapos i-reset mo lang, babalik agad or babalik ulit. Pero hindi no? Hugot. So, just go head on to perspective and reset perspective. So, babalik yan sila lahat sa'yo. Wow! Sana all babalik. May babalikan. So, pag zoom in, I don't know sa Windows, Control++ siguro, pero sa akin kasi pwede lang. I can just, parang use my pad, yung touchpad, to zoom in and zoom it out.
Okay na po, sir. Na-zoom in na po. Thank you, sir.
Control++ ba?
Opo, sir.
Control++. Oo. So, yeah, that's it. So, may questions ba tayo dito? Sa input, output? So, yun lang. Remember, pag input, scanner, input, sa console muna tayo ha. Input, tapos system.in. Pag system.out, output. Tapos, yan. Ito yung statements na you're using input statement and then storing it to num1, whatever yung ita-type ng user. So example, by the way, depending on the type na ginamit mo, kasi Java is really strict in what type you are using, depende yan sa gamitin mo. If this is like guys, like double, dapat i-change mo ito to double. If you want to if you expect na yung output niya would be in a double na may decimal places. So, yan, no? Okay. So, next in, pag integer, next in. Pag double, next double. In fact, madami yan. Tingnan natin, no? So, yan. So, next. Dito tayo sa next. So, yan. Next in, byte, short. We're going to talk about all of this. Float, double, next long. So, yan, madami yan siyang method under scanner. Okay? So, ngayon, let's perform addition. Okay? So, system.out. Okay? And then we're going to have the sum. Okay? So, let's say the sum is, okay. Tapos, ganito, num1 plus num2. Okay? Pag ganyan, kasi yung addition na operator is also a concatenation operator in Java. So, yeah, sir, ano yung concatenation? Pag sinabi nating concatenation, control plus na key sa keyboard, Lizzie. Oh. Pag sinabi nating concatenation, meaning isumpay, no? I-at parang, yeah, sumpay in Bisaya. So, this one 'no, sa especially kasi ang operator na plus is concatenation operator, you will notice later on na yung number na tina-type natin, let's say 5 and 6 will be added as 56. No, the sum is 56, which is dapat hindi, no, dapat 11. So, in that case, ang Java kasi tinitreat niya as the sum is tapos 5 plus then 6. So parang it concatenates the 5 and the 6 to the sum is. So ano yung gawin natin dapat yan, sir? Yung gawin natin is dapat you do like this, no? So the sum is num1 plus num2, or you can assign another variable to it. Let's say sum is equal to num1 plus num2. This is only the case of addition, kasi nga yung addition yung sum addition operator kasi or plus operator is at the same time concatenation operator. So then sum. So you can either use this one or like this. But again, this is only the case of summation or sa sum na operator. So 8. So you entered 4 and 8. The sum is 48. Actually, this is ito yung case ng line 17. And then, yung the sum is 12, yung sa line 18. And then the sum is 12, ito yung dito. Okay? So, yeah, that's it. That's how easy the language is. Siyempre, easier sa Python kasi this can be only written in a few statements, few lines lang. Okay? Sa Java is ano siya, parang you have to decide what type you're gonna be using, and then you'll have uh, to do some import statement if you want to accept inputs. So, which is ito yung case ng Java. Okay? So, tapos may isang method na underrated. So, I would need you to uh, include this one, and every time mag-ano kayo ng Java, so system.exit para kasi Java is GIGO, no, garbage in, garbage out, para mag-free up siya ng space sa yung memory. Sa ngayon, for now, syempre our program has only a few bytes, pero in the future baka like you've been using loops or whatsoever, and then parang mag abnormal termination siya. So mag yung mga data will be stored to your RAM, will not be parang will not be removed from there. So baka it will cause lagging sa uh, device niyo. Pero pag higher specs naman yung device niyo, wala naman problem. But I would encourage you to include system.exit 0. So itong include system.exit 0, this guarantees that our Java application is terminated properly. Oo. Sige. Do you guys have any question? May mga questions ba tayo, guys?
None so far, sir.
And so far, okay. Sige. So, that's the basic of Java. Okay. So now let's discuss about comments. Then later on, we're going to talk about different data types in Java. Kasi importante na we would know the different data types. Knowing different data types in a programming language would would allow us to realize that it's very important to know what type of data we'll have as a programmer. We'll have to decide what type of data we're going to input, what type of data we're going to manipulate and accept. And most likely that's what data structures is all about, no, yung sa data structures na part. So we'll need to really know the idea of data typing, no, sa which is in the case sa Python wala, kasi ang data typing ng Python int lang, float, and boolean, and yun lang, no, parang it has only limited type. But if we really dig deeper, yung computer systems natin ang daming data types niya, no. In fact, Java uses the real number system, no. Ang daming real number systems na meron ang ang computers or ang device natin. And Java is one of the languages that uses the real number system. Okay, so si Python does not really use the number system properly. Okay, pero because it's made easier. Parang ang goal naman or ang vision ni Python is simple programming language for all, where everyone can write program. Okay, sige. So, dito muna tayo sa comments. So, this is an example of comments, okay? So, comments are parang gina-discard or gina-disregard or kanang dili siya gina-read sa compiler, no? They are ignored by our compiler. So, sa Java may tatlo tayong types of comments. So, ang isa, it line comment, okay? So, ito yung single line comment, which is per line makagawa tayo ng comment, and we use this for this purpose, no. Like example, if we want na this is the part of me, joke lang, lyrics naman din na. This line is output, okay? Et cetera, et cetera. So kani mayon kadiri na this is object instantiation, ganyan. Tapos puwedeng ganito. So that is the use of line comment. So again, that is line comment or single line comment. So yung isa is same with C++. Ito yung block comment. Block multi-line comment para sure na lang ako. So multi-line comment. So ang multi-line comment is you can have anything inside of this delimiter. Okay? So of course, obviously, hindi mo siya pwede i-comment per line of your codes. And it's a good practice na maglagay tayo ng comment to our programs. Okay? So this is multi-line comment, and this is the purpose of this. So probably ito yung pwede mong gamitin for this one na let's say this program is brought to you by Emily Holmes. Oh, God bless our homes. Joke lang. So, mga inana, no? Like, again, you can have anything inside of this delimiter. So, as long as there's opening token, which is itong forward slash and asterisk, and closing token naman, which is forward slash and asterisk. So that is the multi-line comment. So yung Java, mayroon siyang tinatawag na Java doc comment. Ito yung, i-discuss ko ito whenever we reach to the topic na mag-object-oriented programming na tayo and mag-create na tayo ng ADT. Pero, syempre, i-discuss ko sa inyo how it is, parang paano yan siya gawin. Actually, when you add one more asterisk to it, this will become Java doc comment. So, yung Java doc comment, special comment yan siya, no? So, lagay ko lang dito. Java doc comment. Sige, para makita ninyo ano yung purpose niya. Example, dito ko siya ilagay. Lagay ko siya dito ha. Tapos, I will put here at author name, Marcel Baste, and then I can actually do like this na, let's say, I can create HTML tags. Uh, this this program is or will calculate two entered integers, and wala na lang and, tama na yan. So something like that, no? So whenever this Java document, whenever mag-create ako ng Java basics, tapos let's say basics equals new Java basics. Wait, create muna ako ng isang constructor dito. So sa open na talaga siya. Whenever I have this here, so maglabas yan siya. So Java doc comment, this program will will calculate two entered integers. Author Marcel Bastet. So pwede mo i-customize yung program mo whenever you're creating an encapsulated class, pwede mo yung i-customize yung program mo na sa iyo talaga. And nobody can take it away from you kasi my name na naka-indicate or my name na signature dyan na under your name. Yan yung idea ng Java doc comment. But for now, again, this is an example of Java doc comment. So you cannot do that pag isang asterisk lang. Dapat dalawang asterisk. So yun yung mga different types of comments. Okay. Do you guys have questions? May questions tayo? Wala. So far, madali lang, di ba? Simple. Too simple, sir. Very basic. Okay. So, it seems like walang questions. So, let's talk about data types. Sige. I'm going to erase all of this. Wait. I-ano ko na lang muna. Copy paste. Lagay ko siya somewhere. Okay. Sige. So, now, let's talk about data types. So, data typing in programming language is very important, class. Kasi this would determine if what type of data are we going to manipulate in our program. And the good thing about Java is that it has actually a lot of parang data or variations of data that we can manipulate from or to. So let's start with the primitive data types. Okay, so there are actually two types of data types in Java. No, two types. So two types. Number one, yung primitive, and the other one is yung reference or reference type. Okay, so primitive type and reference type. Yung mga primitive types, ito yung int, ito yung double, float, okay, long. No, since you're using Python, you might not have heard of long, okay, and you might not have heard of, if you've heard of byte, but byte is like it's a 128 bits, okay. Diba, I've told you that Java uses a real number system, so it has this short and it like boolean or boolean, and char or car. Ayan. And tingnan natin. Int, double, float, long, byte, short. These are some of the primitive types, if not some, all actually. So ito namang reference, there are this, sorry. Ito yung kino-consider natin as wrapper classes. Okay, integer, double, float. So it's not really hard to memorize kasi each one of your primitive type has actually equivalent reference type. And I'm gonna explain to you what's the difference between the two. Okay? But of course, let's start with primitive types first. Okay? So dito muna tayo sa primitive type. Sa primitive type, whenever you actually create or declare a variable, so like this is a variable declaration. Okay? Then we'll have to, let's say, val is equal to 5. You're actually doing variable initialization. Okay. Now, if you're going there's another one which is instantiation. Okay. So instantiation. The difference between instantiation and initialization and declaration is that when you declare a variable, you don't initialize any values to it, no? When you do initialization, of course, you initialize value to it, either 0, 1, or 2, or depending on your ano. And it's important for you to remember that when the type is integer, it does not accept decimal values, which is in Python, it it doesn't matter, no? It doesn't matter kung whatever type it is or whatever you're going to assign to it, kasi wala siyang ganyan. Okay, so ano yung instantiation? You can only use instantiation pag gamitin natin yung reference. Example, I have here integer, let's say, what else, num int na lang, or num pa bang mga ano, sige, is num int, okay, equals new integer. Ayan. Sorry. So let's say I have here num. So if you can see something na parang this one is naka strike through siya, this would mean na this is already deprecated. It means that you don't have to do it anymore. So dati dapat gawin mo talaga siya, no, like this. Pero this time it seems like deprecated na siya. So in fact, may wait lang, eval natin ito. But this will still work. So this is an example of instantiation actually, no? So the constructor integer is deprecated since version 9, 'di ba? Java 14 naman ang gamit ko. So since Java JDK 9 wala na siya. So this time ang since deprecated na siya, pwedeng wala na or pwedeng meron, like ayan. Okay, so now considering that you have this that is what we call instantiation. Every time you have the new keyword, whenever you use new keyword, that is instantiation. Okay, so we deal now with objects rather than variables, and this is our focus na, no, kani siya pohon sa OOP. We deal with objects rather than or instead of variables. But siyempre dili mawala ang mga variable declarations, initialization, only that ang focus natin would be this time. Now, what's the difference between the primitive and reference? Yung difference ng dalawa is that ang reference types, whenever you have here na this contains mga methods, whenever you use that with the along with the dot operator, you can actually call its operations. And which is ito yung focus ng OOP. Ito na part, no? So gagawa tayo ng ganito na we are able to do like this. But syempre, no, we'll start with the beginning, no, the from scratch. So let's say for an instance, uh, I want to, let's say, convert integer value to binary string. Okay, example, gusto ko yan i-convert yung num num int to binary. Okay? So wait for a while. Num int is equal to 0. Okay. So yan, I can do this. Sorry. Oops. So there is automation in the reference class. So 101. So 5 daw is 101 when it is converted into binary. So 124, 124, so 101. So tama. So if you change this to 26, this is 1. So kung i-ano nato siya into binary, so this is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, tama na dira, no? 16. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. So probably 8 plus this 8 16 plus 8 is 20, 24. Okay? Then plus 2. So therefore 11011. 11010. So dapat yun yung result ng so 11010. So tama. Okay? So you can automate the process of what they call this one, converting binary to decimal to binary using reference classes. And that's what you can take advantage of reference objects. Okay? So, and that is not the case that we can do in primitive types. So, hindi natin yan magagawa sa primitive types. So, like num dot. So, wala. Nothing will display. Kasi nga, primitive sila. So, that's the idea of primitive types. So, now, let's focus on primitive typing. So, ano yung primitive typing?
Sir, pwede pa.
Yes.
Balik, sir.
Ano po?
Paulit, sir. Nalibog na. Uh,
Kana?
Dra, sir.
Ibalik na kong explain?
Ay, kuhan na, sir. Ay, kanang pasas na.
Ay, sorry, pas na. So, explain na kong balik.
Ay, pwede ra, sir. Dili na, nahinahin lang, sir.
Sorry.
lang sir kay di ka apasag ko.
Hinayon lang. Unsa man, hinayon pag-explain or hinayon pag-type asa dapit na part or hinayon tanan?
Explain siguro sir kay murag maka-follow up lang niya ng type.
Sige, sige. So, okay. Yung sa primitive type class, since primitive siya, walang mga methods or operations involved in this no or associated operations. So that's definitely the facts. Dito naman sa reference type like integer, double, float, whenever you use this one, okay, whenever you use this one, ito yung it has the capability of calling operations. Isa sa mga operations or methods na ma-call mo is itong two binary string. So in fact, madami yan siya. So num int, so to hex, no? Pwede mo siya i-convert into hexadecimal, into octal. Now, isn't it amazing? Isn't it surprising? So you can really do a lot of things pag you are going to use reference types, which is yan yung gagawin natin in the future. Gagawa tayo ng sarili nating ng isang class na that does this kind of things. No, not maybe gawin ang two binary conversion, but we're going to create a class that does this na makatawag na siya ng mga methods unlike this one. So ito kasi yung mga structured na programming like we simply calculate and then we simply display out the output. Yan lang yung logical formulation. No, parang logical formulation lang programming because again, we only use primitive types. But knowing them is very important to in order for you to learn these things. So ngayon is I have just shown you the difference between the two, but nothing in really in particular na you really have to understand it. But again, no, this is just an overview of this different types. So again, ibalik na ko in a simpler manner. Ani lang sa inyong tan-awon inyong i-consider sa primitive type dili mo makatawag og mga methods. Okay? So pwede ni siya wala, no? Or like you gamiton ninyo ang reference type, it's up to you. Actually pwede mo maggamit og bisan unsa de 34. I mean, instead of primitive type inyong gamiton, you can actually use reference type, no? So yan. And then sa reference type naman, this is you can use instead reference type rather than primitive type. So either will do, no? So 'di ba kanina may program tayo na ito ganito, this one. So this can be also declared as integer num1 num2 and then nothing will actually change. Same lang 'yan. Okay, only that I have shown you the difference between the two lang. Okay? So reference are actually created as a version of primitive. Parang it's an upgraded version of the primitive. Yun lang yung yun lang yung gusto kong i-elaborate on this particular topic. Okay? So which is in the case walang ganyan si Python. I'm sure, no? So now do you guys get it? Sige, wag na muna nating pag-usapan si reference. Let's get back to this puhon. Pag-usapan muna natin si primitive. Sige, sa primitive muna tayo. Okay. Okay. So, let's start with ano yung importance ng mga data types na ito? Siyempre, we know character, we know boolean, we know int, but we don't know all of this. No. So, okay. The idea really of these ones are if you're going to declare a variable of byte type, let's say B, if you can still remember in your number system, probably you've heard of byte. And byte is like 128 bits. Tama? Tama ba? Number system? No? So actually, dili na ni na part na discrete structures, tapos data structures, halos ma-mix-mix na ng mga topics. So, but I'm going to explain it in a simplest way. Di ba pag sinabi nating byte is, pag sinabi nating bit, let's say bit is yung bit is either 0 or 1. Sorry, 0 or 1s, okay? When you have the byte now, or 1 byte, that's equivalent to actually 128 bits. So Java uses the same number system ng computer natin. That means, yung byte natin na data type, we can only accept up to 127. Okay? So, yung range value ng byte natin can only accept positive 127 to negative 128. Beyond that, hindi na pwedeng i-accept yan ng byte. Mag-e-error na yan. Sabi dito, mismatch cannot
Oh,
convert
28
from
yes, sir. Dito sa pwede 28.
28. Dili na kasi 127 0 to 127 manggod, so 28 bits. Okay. So, yeah, what's the idea of this one? The idea of this one really is like this. If we compare integer, okay, integer and byte, si integer class, did you know that ang range ng integer is up to 2 billion? 2 billion yan siya. 2 billion positive negative numbers yan ya. To be I don't know exactly how much but it's 2 billion. Basta if you try to look at it, tingnan natin sa website ha. Mm, data types in Java. Tingnan natin. So ito lang yung isa sa mga programming languages that uses the real number system is si Java. Okay. So ito yon, primitive data types versus non-primitive, no? Yung reference data types. By the way, if baka ma-confuse kayo, yung reference means non-primitive siya. So kung napansin niyo, classes, interfaces, arrays, yung sinabi ko sa inyo na yung integer double, specifically ang tawag natin sa ganitong mga na reference type are wrapper classes. Wrapper, no? Dili tong magyaw-yaw no wrapper. So tingnan natin dito. Okay, walang range. So hanap tayo with range. Data types in Java with value range and size. Yan. Ito. Dito tayo sa W3 schools. Yan. Okay? So pag byte daw, isang byte stores whole numbers from negative 128 to 127. Tingnan natin yung si int. Stores 4 bytes. Number niya is negative 2,147,483, 147,483,648. So, minus 1 ka lang dyan, 647. Okay, ma-memorize mo lang isa yan, plus 1 ka lang or minus 1. So, that's the int. Unsay pasabot ana, guys? Ang pasabot ana is that, 'di ba, usually kung moingon maggamit ka og kuan, let's say magamit ka og int, make sure na ang pwede dawaton niya ana is up to 2 billion. Pero kung magamit ka og byte, specific lang or kutob lang sa 127 to negative 128. Example, if I'm going to declare age as int versus mag-declare ko og byte na age, which do you think is the one na appropriate for the value or the age? Which do you think is appropriate na which I can actually save memory space? Asa dapit dira ang makasave ko space? Ang integer or ang byte? Do you think na naay age na moabot og 1 million? Do you think na naay age na moabot og 500,000, 300,000? Gets nyo ang point? Na-gets nyo, class?
Yes, sir.
Oo. So, meaning to say, we have to be really careful on the types or the type of the variable that we are declaring. Kasi, it's like you na when you're going to fetch a water, like adto ka sa isa ka lugar, or let's say dili na lang let's say sige water, you have the container na 1 gallon of 1 gallon lang na container versus na kay 1,000 liters na container. Tapos ang imuhang ma-fetch na water dito is only 1 liter. Now, asa imong dalon katong 1,000 liters nga container or katong 1 gallon? Kung pangutan-on ta mo, logic wise, asa inyong dalon para sudlan yung 1 liter?
Sir.
Sige, ane. Nakay 1 gallon of container. 1 gallon 1 gallon. As in, isa ka galon. Tapos versus nakay 1,000 liter. Or sige, di na lang 1,000 liter. Ano na lang? Isa ka tangke. Dili tangke. Kanang drum. Okay. Nakay isa ka drum na container. Nakay isa ka galon na container. Okay? Okay. Ako na lang ibutang diri. 1 gallon versus 1 drum. Drum. Tama ba akong drum? Drum ba siya? Okay, ikanang blue. Okay. Tapos, when naay nang hatag og water kasi sige let's say limited scarcity of water, ang mahatag lang nila na water it's let's say 2 liters lang or 1 to 2 liters lang. 1 to 2 liters of water lang ang pwede nila mahatag. Asa akong dalon? Ang isa ka galon or isa ka drum?
Isa
Sa
kagalon, sir.
kagalon.
That makes sense. Claro? Meaning to say, when you are creating a program and you only expect to accept a value na dili maglapas og 2 billion, dili mo lapas og thousands, then why use integer instead of byte? And you're actually saving memory. Do you get me? Do you get the point? Nakuha niyo ang
Yes,
point,
sir.
class. So that's how important hilak na ko. That's how important data types are. So like short, no? So sir, if more than 128 na, since dili man ko like kung integer appropriate na more than 120 128 unsa kung gamiton? Then you have the short. The short kasi, yung short is shorter than integer which is yung ano niya is 32,767 to -32,768. Which is if I would accept higher than 124 or 128 or 127, then I would go for short. But I will not go with int. Okay? Do you get me? Are you getting it? Nakuha ninyo ang importance sa data type class. Kasi, uh, later nyo na yan ma-realize when you're going to create an application, no, a big application, tapos you're not actually saving memory. Kasi ito, mag-rely din yung speed natin depending on how we created our programs. No, so rely din yung programs na ang speed ng programs natin aside sa specification is mag-rely din yung programs natin depending on how it is created. Okay? So what I'm trying to say here is that if we can save space and memory as a programmer earlier by declaring appropriate or using appropriate data types for our programs, then we will do it. Okay? So don't let it consume you na ay okay lang basta makahimo ko program integer na nako na tanan. Wherein may mga different types of data type tayo like byte, short. So kung sa byte, ayan, ito yung mga range of values na pwede i-accept nila. So long is like 9 billion. No, it's not 9 billion but it's more than that. No, 8 bytes pala. So times 2 sa integer. So yeah, that's exactly my point, no? So this will vary. I mean, pwede ito what they call this one. Ang idea there is ikaw mismo, no? Balik tayo sa situation na ganito, no? You just make yourself parang tawag na, naglisod-lisod lang ka sa imong sarili wherein ang masulod ana na tubig is 1 to 2 liters tapos nagdala kag drum, di ba? Naglisod-lisod lang ka like only to find out na 1 to 2 liters na ang sulod kung drum imong dalon. So syempre dito ka sa 1 gallon and for sure you will at you will be at your fastest or efficient speed going there compared to bringing 1 drum instead of 1 gallon, 'di ba? So that's my point. Do you follow? Are you getting it now? Nakuha,
Yes, sir.
guys? Oo. So as a programmer, we don't just create the right program. We have to make sure that we are creating the program in a right way of doing it. Inana siya ka-importante, class. And Python doesn't have that vision, doesn't have that realization. I'm not saying Python is not a good programming, but everything are automatic. Everything are like we are. I'm not saying Python is a bad programming language to learn, but it's not something na na it's really using parang it's caring of the efficiency of our programs. It's not really caring for how much efficient, or which is in terms of data structures and algorithm, yun yung focus natin, no? The speed of our algorithm. So that is how important data types are. And I would like you to use data types properly. So whenever may mga data kayo, or may mga programs kayo, yung input lang is up to this range values lang, don't use int. Instead, either use byte or short para mas makasave kayo ng memory or space. Okay? So, yeah, kung kung ang store lang nimo is mga pictures lang, why would you buy 1 terabyte of flash drive, 'di ba? Or 1 terabyte of SSD. So usually that's the realizations that I would need you to inculcate, no? Dapat 'yan yung values na male-learn natin with the programming language. So with the Python, ang focus kasi ni Python is for machine learning, no, data science, AI. So wala siyang concern about speed, wala siyang concern about application development. So uh, it doesn't matter however you write the program, basta kay you're able to achieve the goal. So yun yung idea ni Python, which is that's the trend right now. Okay, but in reality, it's the important thing is the speed of our application. Okay, so and that's something what we can learn from Java and other languages na gumagamit ng real number system. Okay? Siyempre dili ninyo na ma-appreciate na ang speed as of this time, kasi nga small applications lang ginagawa natin. But eventually in the future, gagawa na kayo ng medyo malalaking mga applications, speed really matters because efficiency is becoming a standard. Whenever something is slow and sluggish, even sa internet connection nato, even when you get to enroll yourself and then parang ang turnaround time niya is 1 hour before you will be catered. Remember, you don't like it to happen to you. No, magyaw-yaw na ta. So right now, efficiency is becoming a standard, and one way to to instill that values is to start within ourselves, no? Kita man ang future innovators, kita man ang kamo man ang future programmers, kamo man puhon ang mag mga agent of change. And I want that change within you, na i-practice natin using actual and real talk lang na mga variables, or like this, no? So I just hope you will do that. So now that you have identified these different types and its ranges, so I'm expecting each one of you to use the data types properly. Yeah, so that's actually the data types, no? So short pa lang tayo, byte pa lang tayo. So again, sa short, if maglapas na siya, 768, hindi yan pwede, no? 767, yan. So if yan, yung long naman is up to 9, ilan ba to? This is 100,000, million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion, no? So 9 quintillion. Quintillion ba ang 5? Tama ba? Quinta? Oo. Quinta. Oh, 9 quintillion. So yeah, that's a lot of numbers. So sir, pag wala dili na sa ano, kato ng hexillion, kato ng more than that. So actually, pag more than that na, kato ng mga big integers ang gamito nato. Reference na to siya. So isa dira si big int. Yan. So Java has that capability also. So yeah, that's it. That's how data types are important in every programming language. Okay? So itong si char is yung iba, char, I guess yung ibang language kay ano lang 256 lang yata. Si Python, si Java rather, is ano na yan siya, is 2 bytes. So that is equivalent to 32,768, no? So more than 85,000 characters yata, including mga Arabic, Japanese characters. Unicode characters kasi ang ginagamit ni Java for character. So unlike sa C and C++, I guess 256 characters lang yan ang allowed. So sa Java, yung Unicode characters ang ginamit ni Java. So float and double, ang float is the same lang sila, but not the same. I stand corrected. 4 bytes equivalent siya sa int, but and with 6 to 7 decimal places digits lang. So up to 7 decimal places lang siya. Pag 8, ang double naman, numbers with decimal pero up to 15 decimal digits. So ayan. Okay. So yeah, that's what data type is. So any questions so far?
And so far, sir.
Wala. So gets na ninyo guys unsa ka importante ang mga data types na to?
Yes, sir.
Sige. So I just hope, no? Kasi yan yung later on sa data structures natin sa hapon mamaya, focus tayo dyan, no? To speed up our algorithm. So now, let's focus on the creating algorithms, no, transactions, whatever. So this time magawa tayo ng mga meaningful na program. So let's say we have name, so gawa tayo ng string name. Yan. Mag-input tayo ng string name, tapos input tayo, gamitin natin si byte kasi bago lang tayo nag ano, no. So byte age, and then let's say float allowance na lang kasi students kayo. Okay? So now, we're going to declare scanner as our input. So scanner input equals new scanner. Ayan. So system dot in. Napa ba nag-follow? Wala na. Kay paspas kay ko, no? Napa wala. Wala na.
Nag-follow pa ko,
Sir,
sir.
nagukod ko sa imo nga, sir.
Ay, sorry. Sige, hinayon ako. Gender. Hinayon ako type. Hinayon lang ako. So, let's say, mag-ask tayo. Basta syso lang, syso. Yan. Control space para dali. Sige, hinay lang kong type. Sorry, guys. So, let's say, enter name. Backslash T. Pag 3 spaces siya, backslash T. So, tapos name is equal to input dot next. Ito pala, next and next line, dalawa yan siya. So, next, tapos my next line. Pag next, sabihin na lang natin in a simpler way, pag next, isang word lang ang i-accept niya. Okay? Pag 2 words na, 3 words, more words, the entire line gusto mo i-capture, next line gamitin mo. Okay? So, next line, entire line. Okay? The entire line, kahit ilang words pa yan or ilang string, ilang words pa yan up to, kahit yung pangalan pa niya is Maria Teres Alonso Quintuna Valencia. Kahit ganyan pa yan. Pero pag next lang yung ginamit mo, isang word lang yung kukunin niya. Kahit ang nilagay mo yan, John Philip Saldivar. So, Jan lang yung kukunin niya. So, Jan as in Jan. Okay? So, dapat next line if you want na ika-capture niya yung entire line. So, copy-paste ko lang, enter gender. Tapos, gender is equal to input dot next. Ayan. And then, age is equal, gawa muna tayo ng input age. So, age is equal to input dot next byte. So ayan, proper na yung programming natin. Allowance is equal to input dot next float. So gawa na lang tayo dito ng enter allowance. So yeah, now gawa ako dito ng sorry, paste ako dito ng system.out. So, hi name, tapos hi name, uh, you are a, yan, you are a gender. So sa Python, no, inani-ani lang na, inani-ani siya sa Python. So sa Java, simple lang, plus lang jud, wala na ilain. Plus you are a gender, and let's say age, years old. Okay. So ayan. And then enter na lang ko diri, mo enter ko. Sige, para kung di mo kasunod, sige, your allowance is, say allowance. Okay. So, pwede natin ito like ilagay dito sa baba. Yan. Okay. So, yeah, that's it. It will display whatever you type in the name, the gender, and the age, and allowance, i-display lang niya dito. So, yeah, that's it. Tapos, pwedeng ganito ang i-practice ninyo. I would advise na ganito yung mga practice ninyo to displaying something pag medyo taas na. Instead of ilagay nyo yan dyan, hold. So hold, ano na lang kayo ng third party na variable. So either you will do this one or you do this one. Tapos i-print mo yung hold here. Yan. So yeah, while waiting, anyway, naka-reflect man dyan. So let's say Marzel Baste, male, age 24, allowance is, let's say, 10,000. Yeah. So hi Marcel, basta you are male and 24 years old, your allowance is 10,000. So nagsumpay na siya kasing print lang ni, dili siya print line. So I would need to add LN here. Sige. Any question muna? Guys, do you have questions? Sige, I will let you finish muna your ano. Guys, do you have questions? Are you tired? Continue pa? Okay pa ta?
Okay pa sir, nag-type pa.
Good, good. Yung iba, how about yung iba? Magsali ako sa magsali ako sa Teams with my phone para I would be able to see kung sana yon. Sync session. Yeah, join. What happened? Yeah, so that is it, no? Basic sa Java, and then yeah, later on we'll convert this one into, para mas ganado kayo, let's convert this one into GUI, no? Yung basic GUI lang. Okay. Sige, wag na lang muna. Pero yeah, I'm going to demo na i-convert natin ito to UI, and then we'll have a separate session na lang in sa UI. Sige, so are you guys done?
Yes,
Actually,
sir.
is
Nakapalo na, sir.
okay, that's good. Actually, I can send this to your account, to your Facebook. Ay ano tawag nito? To our GC. Kaya pod. Oy, Merry Christmas everyone. Tamang
Sir, kumaskuhan.
pinaskuhan, ako'y nakauna. So, let's try to convert this one, although you don't have to follow, i-convert natin ito into UI. So, actually sa paggawin natin itong UI, you'll just have to do like this, no? J-option pane lang. I-import, by the way, import muna natin si J-option pane. So, import javax dot swing dot J-option pane. Ayan. So, J-option pane dot show input. Ayan. Type type your name or enter name, o name na lang, and then wala na ito kasi change natin ito with J option pane. So by the way, so J option pane may will need to
Sir, ang tawag wala ang sir.
sige, erase na lang yun ako na tanan para i-keep lang ninyo gihapon. Anyway, na-keep man to sa ano. So erase na lang nako na tanan kani erase na ako ni yan. Yeah, inana lang. Tapos gender. So mas ma-shorten siya actually. Tapos kani class kay byte man ni kailangan siya i-parse, no, byte.parse kasi explain ko sa inyo ha, yung G option pane kasi i-treat niya as string or object yung input. So para ma-convert siya into to byte, kasi byte yung ginamit natin for age, kailangan natin siya i-parse. So parse means you're converting the value to a specific type, either integer, double, or byte. So pag float siya, float.parse, float. Pag integer siya, integer.parse int. Pag double, double.parse double. So example, ito, since float man ito, so float.parse, float po tayo yung gamitin natin. So this is age and this is allowance. Tapos, option pane that show message. So pag input, you'll take in, pag again, accept ka ng input sa user ha, show input. Yung null, as of now, null mo na lang muna yan. Wag mo, don't put anything there na iba, null muna. And then put here the hold. So that is why ganito yung technique ko for doing it, kasi if ever na ilagay ko yan siya dito medyo mataas, no, medyo long lines of code. So that is why much better na lagay mo siya sa third party na variable that concatenates it, and then saka mo siya ilagay sa dialog or message dialog. So allow me to run this one para di siya mawala dire. I'll just run it here. Yeah, so yeah, name Marcel, Marcel Smith. Yeah, gender male, age 12, allowance 5,000. Yeah, hi Marcel Smith, you are a male and 12 years old. Your allowance is 5,000. So yeah, that is how you will convert it to GUI. Okay, sige. So, do you guys have any questions? Wala, no? So, simple lang, di ba? Dili siya yung nanakasayon. Only that, kailangan lang nyo i-familiarize, especially pag declare og data types kasi wala yan sa Python. And the import statement for taking inputs, either scanner for console and option pane for GUI. Okay? So, is it okay if we're going to end our discussion now? I'll just provide you with the resources that you can do for the remaining hours within yourself. And then if you guys have questions, just tell me. Mag-post ako doon sa Google Classroom natin. Okay lang ba, guys?
Kira, sir.
Okay ra? Kasi baka na-board na yung iba, just in case. So anyway, I will provide you the resources na pwede nyong anuhin with my with the video. So okay lang? Kasi we'll meet later on. Okay. Sa data structure natin, tama ba? Guys?
Yes, sir.
Sige. Can I request everyone to please make yourself visible sa pwede, if possible, lahat? Again, plus points sa mga magpakita. O, isa lang. Ayun, ayun. I'm so excited to meet you kasi you're very participative and I can sense na madali kayong makakuha, no? Sige. Alright, so picture tayo. 1, 2, 3, smile. One more. 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, so we'll see each other later on sa afternoon for our data structures and yeah, so it's data structures naman siya, hindi siya basic for basic programming sa Java. Okay? Thank you guys and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you,
Bye-bye,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye,
sir.
sir. Kaon.
See you later, sir.
Sige po, see you later.